Anton World Soldier here, and I am back to talk about Star Trek Discovery Season 3, Episode 9, and my thoughts on this episode. I'm going straight to spoilers now because this episode was so fucking bad. So if you don't want to hear spoilers, leave now. What the fuck was this? The acting was horrible. The story was boring. But Jesus Christ, Michael, how are you this bad of an actress? How are you this fucking bad at your fucking job? I have watched you in The Walking Dead. You were a capable actress. Okay, you were not this bad. This episode had the worst acting I have ever fucking seen in Discovery. And I know I say that a lot every week. I say the acting ain't great, but this episode, holy shit, it was terrible. These actors and actresses need to thank whatever God they pray to that they got these jobs, because any real show, they would never have got past the interview process. This show was, the acting was terrible. Unbelievably terrible. They were over the, I'm going to go straight to spoilers. I said, they go back to the Mirror Universe, and everybody is just evil for the sake of being evil. It is fucking stupid how evil they act. It's fucking moustache twisting fucking evil. That's how bad it was. I'm just going to be evil to be fucking bad in this episode. Oh my... I know these actors and actresses aren't fucking amazing at their job. But you need to fucking explain how this was even allowed to air. Because the overacting was in every fucking scene in the Mirror Universe. Every scene. I cannot believe how bad this was. And what the fuck are Discovery trying to do to the Terrans? They're trying to turn the Terrans into the Klingons. Because they keep calling on the fact that the Terrans need to die in combat, that they believe in honor, and that they have gods now. They have fucking gods now. The Terrans. We've seen the Terrans hundreds of fucking times. Never brought up God before. Never brought up honor before. But in Discovery, they're trying to... Again, what I think they're trying to do is they're trying to turn the Terrans into the Klingons because they can't bring the Klingons back. Because they fucked the Klingons up so much, and they can't let the YouTubers who've called that out be right. Because they can't bring back the new Klingons because they're so bad, and they can't bring back the old Klingons because it would prove all of us right. That said to them, those Klingon designs were terrible. So they're trying to turn the fucking Terrans into the fucking Klingons, which makes no sense. The Terrans were never honourable, and the Terrans never wanted to die in honourable fucking combat. It is fucking stupid to fucking try to say that that's real. And in this story is basically about Georgiou's fight with Lorca, who tried to do a coup against her in the Mirror Universe, and how Michael Burnham died. That's all this episode was about. And it breaks its own law in this episode because it kills a certain person off. Now I know it's going to be, well, it's only a dream sequence. How the fuck do we know that? I know they're trying to change the past, but why? Why does this even matter? How is this going to cure fucking Georgiou of her fucking disease or whatever she has. I mean, it just made no sense. Why going back to the past? I mean, I will say what I think at the end when we get up to what I think they're planning for this episode and what the biggest problem this episode was. But it made no sense why she needed to go back in the past and to remember why she killed Michael. It just didn't make no sense. Jesus Christ, this episode was dog shit. So I'm going to go now in beginning and end. Now, go through it like that. So we start off this episode with the doctor and the spy guy talking about Georgiou's disease. The spy guy, the one with the glasses who was talking to Georgiou in that interview, informs the doctor that Georgiou is obviously dying because she has jumped from a universe to another universe and has now gone through time. And it turns out in their history files they have seen this done before, and everybody who did this has died. And Georgiou is going to suffer the same fate as they did. So the doctor says, is there any cure for this? And he says no, because everybody died from it. And that there's also the matter of the temporal cords. Okay, Discovery, I know you want to keep proving that you've watched other series of Star Trek. Yeah, mentioning the temporal cords 50 fucking times doesn't prove shit. Because, by the way, even Enterprise realised that storyline was shit. That's why they had to wrap it up pretty fucking quick. It was very stupid of them to create time wars in fucking Star Trek. This ain't fucking Doctor Who. This is fucking Star Trek. So the doctor asks the computer, is there a cure for Georgiou? But the spy guy says there is no cure, and what we should be worrying about is Georgiou going fucking nuts and killing everybody on the ship. But the computer, turns out, does have a cure for Georgiou. The next scene is pretty much the Admiral, Saru, Tilly, Michael, Doctor Guy, and the spy guy in a room talking about what the computer has discovered. And Michael pretty much explains that the computer has found a planet that may have a cure for Georgiou on it. She asks the Admiral, can she take Discovery to that planet to save Georgiou's life? The Admiral is kind of hesitant on doing this because, thanks to Michael Burnham, he's now got to worry about the Imperial Chain, who is, right at this moment, doing military training near the Federation. And he's worried that they are going to do a first strike on the Federation. So he needs Discovery to stay in close. But Michael is able to persuade him, and we all knew he's going to persuade the Admiral, because even if he says no, Michael's obviously going to fucking disobey the orders, and Saru is going to be a gutless cunt and pretty much let her. But the Admiral thinks about it for a few seconds and says, fine, Discovery, you can head off to the planet to save Georgiou's life. But I'll give one character credit here. Saru says we shouldn't do this because the Emerald Chain is training to may attack the Federation, and he wants Discovery to be prepared to defend the Federation. I'll give him credit for that. But the Admiral says to him, no, that's my orders. You're going to take Georgiou to this planet to save her life. He then dismisses everybody out of the room except Saru, and then when everybody's out of the room, he explains to Saru, listen, if you don't save Georgiou's life, the crew is never going to forgive you for that. And I'm just thinking, what the fuck are you on? The crew hate Georgiou. It's not like she's going to win a popularity contest, is it? She's a bitch to everybody on that ship. Why would they blame Saru for not saving her life? We all know why we have to save Georgiou's life. Because of Michael. If Michael wants something, the whole crew has to bow down to her and let her fucking have what she wants. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. I mean, why would the crew blame him? It's not his fault she's dying. God, so Saru pretty much reluctantly agrees to take Georgiou back into the planet. the next scene is Georgiou in the mess, trying to eat her dinner, or whatever she was eating at the time. But she's starting to have those weird attacks again when her hand goes all weird and her body goes weird. And then Tilly walks over and tries to comfort Georgiou. Okay, Tilly, Georgiou's a very proud person. She's not going to want your fucking sympathy. She would hate that. Especially when she doesn't have no respect for you, Tilly. And pretty much says that to you straight away. And then throws her food on her. And then Michael comes over to say, listen, everybody's here to help you. Stop pushing us away. And then Georgiou pretty much just says fuck off to everybody and heads to the gym. And Tilly just has to clean herself up. Tilly is such a useless character. She really is. Why is she commanded this ship? I have no fucking idea. I mean, Saru, you had literally 100 crewmen to choose from. And you picked Tilly. I'd even have put Stamets ahead of her, for God's sake. Jesus Christ. So we go into the gym where Georgiou is punching a bag fast as fuck, and the doctor's trying to get her to come over to get a scan so they can prepare for her trip to this planet. She doesn't really want to do that. Michael's just keeps asking, why are you trying to push me away? I'm trying to help you. I want to save your life. And Georgiou's got to keep telling her, why are you acting so spineless? Stop pretending that you're not trying to save me because you feel guilty for losing your your Georgiou. And it really is that. I mean, she literally cannot let go of the fact that she caused her captain to die, and she's just pushing all those feelings she had onto this new one, which is just, in my words, pathetic. It still is. It really is. And she tries to get, and then Georgiou tries to get to Michael to kill her, because she then starts to grab these weapons and starts to get Michael to fight her. But Michael says, I'm not going to fight you, I'm not going to kill you, I'm here to save you. And then Georgiou reluctantly agrees, and they head to the planet. Now, the next scene is Georgiou preparing to transport down to the planet by grabbing a phaser. And in the previous scene, the science guy mentioned that Georgiou is going to go fucking nuts if she doesn't get the right way to die. And if she doesn't get the right way to die, she's going to make sure she dies in the right way. Because this is literally what the spy guy said. Terrans need a honourable death and to die in combat. And that is bollocks. That has never happened in Star Trek canon. The Terrans are not fucking Klingons. They are not fucking Klingons. If you want to put fucking Klingons in this episode, how about fucking get the real fucking thing, Discovery? Instead of trying to turn the fucking Terrans into the new Klingons, because you've just done such a bad fucking job. It was so bloody pathetic. And now they're giving Georgiou a phaser, even though they know she could go fucking nuts. I mean, what the fuck? So the Admiral pulls Burnham aside and asks her, can she handle Georgiou? She says yes, but he says, I've read your file and I know you hesitated the last time you had to deal with Georgiou. If she goes crazy, can you assure me that you can deal with her? And Michael just says, yes, if she goes crazy, I'll kill her. And then he just pretty much accepts that. It's like, we all know that if she goes crazy, Michael is not going to kill her. We all fucking know that. So it's just such a bullshit lie. And he just accepts it. And why are you just sending Michael on her own? You should send a few people with her. By the way, you can honestly tell they lost a lot of money in their budget in this season because of how few extras you see, or how we always seem to use the same sets in most of these episodes. When I remember watching the first season of Discovery, and we used to see a lot of new sets and stuff, and a lot of extras. But yeah, I think the show has definitely had its money tightened a lot. And then we see Saru comes to speak to Georgiou. Georgiou's being nice to Saru because she's dying. I mean, she's been such a bitch most of the time. Why is she being nice now? I mean, just because she's dying, she wouldn't go fucking all soft. She'd get more fucking furious and want to push more people away, like she was trying to do with fucking Michael in the gym. So Saru says, listen, I'm going to be up front of you. I don't like you, but I hope you don't die. And Georgiou pretty much thanks him for trying to save her and shakes him by the hand. We then get Tilly, who still thinks being nice to Georgiou is a good thing. Georgiou then, from nowhere, acts all nice again, says, Tilly, you're the best, and Tilly, you will make a great fucking commander of the ship. And then Tilly gives her a big hug, and you can see Georgiou is massively uncomfortable. I don't understand why Georgiou is being nice all of a sudden. I really don't. I mean, it doesn't make sense. So they beam down to the planet. Michael tries to scan for life. She then brings up the fact she's never been on a planet this lifeless before. And I'm just like, are you fucking... Have you lost your memory or something, Michael? You were literally on that sort of planet in the first episode. You know, a bareback planet. And I know someone's going to say there were people on that planet, but yeah, but in the first few minutes of that fucking episode, she was on a barren planet. So you have been on a barren planet before, Michael. It's really stupid to say that when we know you, in fact, have been on a planet like that before. So Georgiou and Michael go scanning for this place that the computer told them to go to. We go back onto the ship where Cal is. If you don't remember who Cal is, she's the one with the symbiont inside her who is very angry right now and pretending not to be angry. In the scene, we see that she has screwed up on some sort of project and is very angry at herself. Stamets is trying to calm her down and say, listen, it's not your fault. We haven't lost that much work. You'll be okay. But it turns out that's not what she's worried about. What she's worried about is that she hasn't seen her boyfriend in a long time, and she's now trying to pretend like she doesn't care that she's lost her boyfriend, and she's trying to be all macho about it. Like, I don't care. I mean, the acting in this scene was terrible. Unbelievably terrible. I mean, why you... I mean, again, this is like watching a fucking teenage movie where they're like, I don't fancy him, I don't fancy him. It's like, we all know you do, and it's kind of stupid that you're fucking saying you're not. We all know she misses her boyfriend. Can we get over this bullshit now? So while Stamets is trying to calm her down, the Discovery gets a signal from the Federation starship from 3 episodes ago, the one that they figure is where the origin point of the burn has come from, but we still have not gone to for some reason. Who knows why? And they then go to Saru to show him the message, and the message is a Kelpian who is asking for the Red Federation's help. Turns out the message is 100 years old, and every time the Kelpians get brought up, Saru literally becomes short-sighted and just only concerned about the Kelpians. It's kind of bigger picture here, man. Why are you concentrating on this when you should? I mean, again, why have they not just jumped to that Federation ship? You have a jump drive. Just do it. Apparently this fucking thing can go anywhere. Why is nobody heading to that ship? It's been 3 episodes we've known about this episode now. Can we just get on with it and head to the ship? God fucking sake. So Saru tells the crew he wants them to scan the ship and find out any records on it so that he can make a plan to, well, do something about our ship later on. I'm not going to go into more detail about that. I mean, it was such a boring ass scene. We then head back down to the planet where Georgiou and Michael are walking around scanning for life or scanning for what they need to save Georgiou. They then come across this guy sitting in a chair next to a door, and I'm not sure if this is a Q or not, but it seems like I think he is a Q. and he starts making jokes. The fucking jokes in Discovery just take the piss, man. He brings up the door. He tells Georgiou, listen, if you don't go through that door, you will die tomorrow because this is tomorrow's paper and it says you're going to be dead. And Georgiou reluctantly agrees because she starts phasing out again and then says that she will go through the door if that saves her life. Michael asks this Q guy, I think it's a Q, I don't know, is it going to save her life? And he says, I don't know, or you'll have to find out. So Georgiou walks through the door and then boom, she is back in her Imperial uniform and back as Emperor of the Terran Empire. Because then we see Tilly as the captain of the Discovery. Oh dear. So we're back in the Mirror Universe. Now, I liked the Mirror Universe in season 2, not season 2, in season 1. I didn't think it was bad. I kind of thought the show had stayed in the Mirror Universe and had been set in the Mirror Universe, it would have been a more interesting show. How wrong I fucking was in this episode. The over fucking acting and the over fucking over the top bad guy stuff is just ridiculous. I mean, too many of these actors were just really trying hard to be really bad guys. I mean, it was just ridiculous. So the Emperor and Tilly Georgiou and Tilly walk through all these crewmen that are now doing Nazi salutes. By the way, Terrans didn't do the Nazi salute, they did a fist salute. Their hand wasn't flat, it had a fist. Because it was trying to tell you that this wasn't a Nazi salute. So why are they doing a Nazi salute all of a sudden? I mean, yes, it's over the top trying to say these people are bad guys. Now they're doing a Nazi salute now. It was never like that. It was a fist out, not a hand. Fist. I know someone's going to be like, what are you fucking... Your point. They just did a salute. Yes, but it kind of doesn't make sense they're making a Nazi salute when we know in previous Star Trek that they never did that salute. They did a fist. This is just over-the-top bad guy bullshit. And unbelievably stupid. So Georgiou talks to Tilly, and Tilly tries to explain to her that they're dealing with slave rebellions and that they're going to, quell the rebellions and make the Empire safe on Discovery because that's where they're heading. But Georgiou pretty much tells Tilly she knows about the treason of Lore, because Lore's back. Well, he doesn't come back, but he gets mentioned like every fucking minute. Lore's rebellion, because again this episode is just completely about Lore and Michael rebellion on the Emperors. That's what she's back here for, to change history, I think. So she tells Tilly she knows about the coup. She wants to know where Michael is, and Tilly just says, listen, I tried to warn you ahead of time. I'm loyal to you, but the problem is Lore has a lot of loyalists that he has proven to them that you are too weak to be Emperor. And she then warns Georgiou that your loyalists are starting to wane because they're starting to see your weakness. And in the Terran Empire, if you're weak, you die. That's the fucking rules of the Terran Empire. And again, they're trying to make the Terrans the Klingon Empire. And it's just so retarded. For fuck's sake. To be a Terran leader was never about strength. It was just about being smarter than the next person. I mean, for God's sake, in Enterprise, the fucking Emperor loses his fucking empire to the fucking Defiant because that Asian woman fucking took over the Defiant. It was never about strength. It's about being smarter than the next guy. I mean, that is the Klingon Empire is about strength. The Terran Empire is about fucking power and technology. That was a difference. And it's just dumb to try and force the Terran Empire to be your new Klingon because you fucked up so much with the Klingons. I know I brought that up a bunch of times, but it's so fucking true. That's what they're trying to do now with the Terrans. And it's ridiculous. So the Emperor walks into this room, into this party where they all did a Nazi salute again. And we see a couple of Kelpians, with one of them being Saru. And the Emperor wants to know where Michael is. And then Michael turns up and hugs and says mother, because the Emperor is her mother in this universe. And, they then sit down to have a drink and talk about law again. And, the Emperor, Georgiou's trying to find out. Now, I think in this episode, what she's trying to find out is, why did Michael betray her? Because apparently she didn't find out the last time she did all this. And she wants to try to see if she can change the past now. And in this same scene where she's talking to Michael about law, we see a Kelpian make a mistake and drop some alcohol on this officer's boots. She then wants to kill him, but Saru comes over and apologizes for the mistake. And it's over. It's a bad scene. The acting was pretty bad when they're trying to. The actress was trying to pretend to be this evil person who wants to kill this Kelpian and eat him. I don't know why that's supposed to be scary, but there you go. I know eating somebody's scary, yes, and it's supposed to be a threat, but it was just over the top bad. I'm gonna be this evil person who cooks you and eats you. It's over the top, and she's grinning, and it's like a shit grin. Jesus Christ! I mean, just learn to act. That's all I'm asking. Learn to fucking act. And then Michael says we should kill all the fucking Kelpians because they're a waste of life. The Emperor pretty much nods and agrees a little bit. And then Saru comes over with a drink for Michael because he's apparently Michael's personal slave. And then Michael just punches the drink out of his hand and then wants to kill Saru. And then the Emperor steps in and says, no, you're not going to kill him. He's going to be my personal slave now. And she takes Saru as her personal slave. So we go to her room with Saru, and Saru is pretty much combing her hair. She's asking him questions, and then she brings up, how long has Michael planned to betray me with law? He brings up the fact he tries to cover for Michael at first, but when the Emperor pretty much says she knows everything, he says yes, they are planning to kill you. Then she brings up some sort of disease that the Kelpians have that turns them to madness. Now, from what I've heard from other YouTubers, the madness was apparently something that made the Kelpians smarter, and that's what that's what it's about. That's why they agree to slavery, because the madness, they're so scared of it because they think it turns them crazy and it kills them in a horrific way, when in fact the disease actually is the next level of their evolution, and that's what stops them, and that's what makes them what the Kelpians should be. That's all I know about what the disease is, but it's not really a disease, it's just evolution for them. But the Kelpians have unfortunately had it into their mind that it's a disease. So the Emperor says to Saru, you're now going to be my personal spy. You're going to spy on Michael and anybody else who's planning to assassinate her. We then go to this party. Well, whilst we're heading to the party, we then see this fight between two Terran officers who one wants to kill the other one because he wants to take her place as head of the honor guard of the Empress, and this really did just sound that they really are trying to turn them into Klingons with fucking sword fights and just murdering each other. This officer would not ask for combat. If he wanted her job, he would have done what happened in season 1 of Discovery when they were in the Mirror Universe. Find a way to assassinate her, like in an elevator or when she's asleep. He would not ask for single combat. Again, they're not fucking Klingons. They would fucking poison each other. They would shoot each other. They would stab people in the back. That's the Terran Empire. My God, you're trying to make them seem honourable by fucking, asking each other for combat? Bullshit. And then you have Michael fucking wanting to make a wager with the Emperor about who will win. And again, why are you bringing up money again in Star Trek? There's no fucking money. Not even in the Terran fucking Empire was there money. That was never brought up. So why the fuck are they betting credits all of a fucking sudden? It was a stupid fucking scene. So the head of her honor guard wins, kicks the crap out of this Asian bloke, and then they pretty much sit down to this very boring performance of, I don't know what. Apparently it was Georgiou's victory over the Klingons. Again, the symbolism is insane. They're bringing up the Klingons now. They're trying to turn the Terrans into the Klingons. They are trying to do this. They are trying to turn the Terrans into the Klingons. It's a fucking joke. I mean, why not bring in Klingon slaves? Why can't we see Klingons? I mean, it's just pathetic now. They're so desperate to try and bring an empire into to Discovery. They're just going to use the fucking Terrans. It's ridiculous. So watching this really boring, bad performance, I honestly, the budget for this show looks terrible. Because if that's the best they could have got for their money, then they got ripped off. Because this sheep dancing shit, it's just, it was just terrible. And you got Stamets fucking talking through it and saying like the Emperor. Now I don't remember, but I don't know who brings up. I think it might be Stamets or it might have been Tilly, but somebody brings up Georgiou's full name, and apparently it is the dumbest name I've ever heard. And you know where they got this ridiculously long name from? They got it from fucking Game of Thrones. They're calling the Empress of the fucking Klingons, the head of the fucking Vulcans, the Imperial leader of Rome. For God's sake, Rome? What the fuck has Rome got to do with anything? They call her the fucking Empress of Rome. It's like, what the fuck? All this was to make Georgiou have a long, stupid name like fucking Daenerys in Game of Thrones. It was fucking ridiculous. Why would she have such a long name? She's just the Emperor of the fucking Terran Empire. That was it. That was all it needed to be. But these writers want to copy so many shows, they are now copying fucking Game of Thrones. You really want to copy that piece of shit? Fucking pathetic. So after performance, Georgiou goes to the stage and starts to make a speech of how tough she is because she's realised that Michael betrays her because she became too weak. And she now wants to show Michael that she is strong enough to lead the Empire and that she may be able to save her Michael's life. Because then Stamets pulls a knife out and tries to stab Georgiou, but she stabs Stamets and kills him. So they're definitely fucking up the timeline of the Mirror Universe, because isn't he supposed to be alive on the Emperor's ship? Oh yeah, apparently this whole thing was about the Emperor's new ship, and the ship basically from season 1 in the Mirror Universe. So she kills Stamets. She makes this speech that she's the Empress, and she always will be. She then leaves with her honor guard, and then we see Michael walking down one of the halls, and then she pretty much gets arrested by Tilly and Georgiou's honor guard. And then Michael goes fucking insane and says, I betrayed you because you're weak. You took me from my home because I was the king of this fucking shithole, apparently. No, she was, where was it? She was the master of the trash heap. And Saru took her from that life. So Saru made you the Emperor's daughter with all that fucking wealth and power, and you're annoyed that you're no longer head of a trash heap. Why not just say you want to be Empress? Why not just say that? Why not just say, Law and I will now be the leaders of the Empire, and I will soon kill Law when it's time? I mean, just saying that you want to be head of a fucking garbage is fucking ridiculous. And the overacting in this scene is unbelievable. Michael just saying, I hate you. You took me from my home. I want to kill you. Law loves me. Fucking hell. Learn to act. Fucking learn to fucking act. Jesus. Then Georgiou grabs her sword and then's about to cut her throat, and then she hesitates and says, no, I'm not going to do this again. We're going to change. We're going to change our paths. And then the episode ends. Oh, no, it doesn't. Because then you see all the crew around Georgiou looking very confused. And it's obvious what's going to happen in the next episode. They're obviously going to betray Georgiou because they've seen that she's weak. And in the Terran Empire, if you look weak, they're going to kill you. And then the episode ends. And let's get to what this whole episode was about. This episode was all about Michael fucking Burnham. All about Michael Burnham. It's supposed to be an episode about fucking Georgiou. No, it's just about Michael. It's about Michael saving Georgiou. And that's about Georgiou trying to save Michael. It's bollocks. This entire episode just focused on Michael. Even in an episode where she is not the focus of the episode, she becomes the focus of the fucking episode. Are you fucking serious? Why are you doing this? My God. An entire episode. This is of just trying to make Michael Burnham happy. We see that in every fucking episode. This one should have just been about Georgiou. Maybe seeing that she has done so much wrong in her galaxy. Maybe she wants to fix the Terran Empire and change the history again. Maybe make the Terran Empire more of a fucking human empire, or maybe more of a federation. I mean, I have such a bet that's what the next episode is going to be. It's going to be just full. It's all about fucking Georgiou trying to turn the fucking Terran Empire into the fucking Federation now. And it's just... I'm just bored with it now. This episode was boring, pointless, and acting was horseshit. Absolute horseshit. That's the end of my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And do subscribe if you like my content. Hail the Phantom Menace, long live CG, and fuck the SAWs. Bye.